All right, guys, tonight's quick video is going to be about a question that I get a lot. Over the past, I say 3 years, ever since I started doing YouTube, this has came up a lot. Folks wanting to know, can you use powder coating, heat activated powder coating with lasers? And if so, how would you go about doing it? Well, that's a question I've had for a long time, but due to most of the lasers in the shop that I have being diode lasers and them having a fan inside, it was just kind of a messy situation to be going into. But since getting the Glacier here in the shop, it's a water-cooled machine, no fan on the module, I decided to give it a try. So tonight I want to show you what I've been doing, the experiments that I've done, and what my findings are. So stick around, and we're going to talk about how to do powder coating with your diode laser. So let's get to it. All right, so for this experiment, guys, and I do want to stress this was an experiment. You guys had asked me multiple times, is it possible, because you had either seen videos of it being done or just been curious, and you got me. I got curious. I went on Amazon and I ordered myself some affordable powder coating powder. And before you guys tell me, yes, this is probably not the best powder coating that money can buy, but for this application, I was on a strict budget, and so this is what I got. I did order kind of a combo kit that came with a bunch of colors, and I'll try to show that to you over here. So there's multiple colors in this kit. I chose the red and blue to play around with because I felt like that would be the best contrasting with the materials that I'm using. Now, the process of powder coating, for you that guys maybe that don't know, and I did do a little research to make sure I don't misstep on this. Basically, you take this fine powder right here. The powder itself is kind of statically charged, I guess you could say. It's basically made so that when you spray something with it, it has enough of a static charge that it'll stick to said items. And then once you get it on there, it's kind of like dry painting almost. You spray it on there with a sprayer or however, you get a good even coat, and then you heat it up gradually up to around 350 to 400 degrees. It more or less melts and adheres to whatever you're putting it on. So we're kind of at a disadvantage when using a diode laser already, because we're not putting the heat, like we're not heating it up evenly, like the whole thing. What we're doing is we're firing a laser beam at the top of the material, and so it's going to heat the top surface and not necessarily going to heat the material that you're applying it to. So there's a balance. So before we go forward, guys, I want to let you know I did this as an experiment just because you guys had asked. This was literally a fun video to play around with. I do not recommend doing this for a business situation. This is something that's cool. It's fun to play around with and see what you can come up with. But from my testing already, I can tell you there's no money to be made here. The margin of error is too great. The process is too time consuming. Just grab yourself some paint. If you just want paint filled, just grab yourself some paint. But if you'd like to see the experiment, just for the sake of experimentation, let's walk through the process and let me show you exactly how I come to create my little pieces of powder coated wood. So let's go through the process. All right, so the first thing that you need is you're going to need to know about what your settings are for the material that you're engraving. And this is the material that I use. This is a pre-finished plywood that I use a lot here in the shop. So I did a little speed and power test, and then I kind of picked some settings from there. Now, the secret to being able to do this with a diode laser, guys, before you try this and make a total mess of your place, let me explain something to you. If you'll watch right here, you'll notice that the powder coating, it's not moving. It's not going anywhere. That's because the Glacier 100 watt, 120 watt diode laser is water cooled. It doesn't have a fan blowing air across the module, and I don't have air assist on. You're going to want to make sure you're not moving a lot of air around the module, because of course you're going to blow the powder everywhere and it is not going to be on the material where you want it to be. We're going to move over to the computer, and I want to show you the process and kind of walk you through some of the ones that I've did, some of these tests that I did, and we'll wrap it up from there. I don't want to spend a whole lot of time with this process, but I thought it was neat. It was cool, and you guys asked for it. So let's bounce over to the computer for a minute. All right, so the first important part of this operation, guys, is you're going to need to make sure your material stays put. You can't have material sliding around or moving because this is going to be a multiple engrave operation on the same object. So you want to make sure that it stays in the same spot through the engraving and the powder coating passes. All right, so I'm just getting everything framed up right here. I've got my machine set to constantly frame. Like I said, this is the Glacier. That little circle frame makes it shudder a little bit. So just checking the frame to make sure everything works out good. And then we're going to run this. I'm doing this kind of hot but slow on the speeds because of what I want on this pass is I want a really deep engrave. So what I'm going to end up doing is I'm turning it over to the 100-watt setting so I can get the maximum depth that I can get. And with this machine, it gives you a confirmation in the command portion of what your setting is. And so I'm running this at like 150 millimeters a second, 100% output at 100 watts with a pretty high LPI, like 200. And that's to get this deep engrave. Now I messed up right here and I didn't think about it until it was over with, but I'm cutting the piece out already. I should have waited until after the powder coating pass to cut the material out, because cutting it out at this point allows it to move when I'm putting the coating on there. It did move slightly, but luckily in the process of putting this stuff on, I bumped it one direction and then accidentally bumped it the other, and it worked out. It actually worked out. So I'm just going to be real generous with the powder coating powder, just putting it down in the recess that was created by the engraving. And that's something that's really difficult, is making sure that you have it the same thickness all the way across and all of that, because you got to remember the heat, the way we're doing it with this laser, and what I'm doing is making sure the air assist is turned off. I'm changing it over to 40 watts output and just verifying that it is on 40 watts now. Because what I want to do now is I don't want quite as much heat going into the material. I even did some experimentation with turning the power down to like 50%, and it's still done a decent job. So this is where it's going to take lots of testing, and I really, this is fun to play with, but it's just not something that I think I'm going to be using on projects. I will paint fill it and be done with it. Be much faster. So I've got the air assist turned off. Like I said, with this Glacier, there is no fan in that module. So there's no wind moving around, no air moving around whatsoever. And you can tell that by the smoke. You got just a little bit of air movement in my shop. And just so if you are concerned about me, during this engrave process, I walked out on the porch and just kind of kept an eye on it from there, because this is not in an enclosure. You can see the powder coating is staying in place and the machine is firing into the powder coating. Now, part of the dilemma and the problem with trying to do it this way is that little blink of the laser is going to heat the powder coat up well over the 350 degrees, but it's not heating the wood up. So you're not going to get a real bond or a real adhesion between the powder coating and the wood. You're more or less, in this situation, you're more or less melting wax and pouring it into a mold, is what it accounts for. And to be honest with you, that's actually something that I've thought about. It's pretty cool. Maybe we should do one where we melt wax and pour it in there and then, slick it down. But anyway, so that's what's happening, is it's firing, it's melting the powder coating, and it's kind of staying in that recess. It did stick to the material in a lot of the places, but in a lot of places it didn't, because that layer of powder and that layer of little bit of scorch that's on that material is easy to just pull off. And so some of it did pop off during the sanding process. And that's why I say that this is terribly inconsistent as far as the adhesion to the material or whatnot. And you can see here, that's what happened is I engraved the powder. The powder is in the engrave of the wood, so it's kind of in that recess. And it wasn't a total failure, at least. All right, guys, so as you saw in the video, the flexibility of having multiple power ranges for the machine, as well as not having that fan on the module, being able to control light burn, control the air assist and light burn, all of those things kind of help make this possible. And that was one reason why I wanted to do it, because Normally, to do this method, you would need either a CO2 that you could turn the air assist off in that doesn't have a built-in fan that comes on inside it, or you would need like a galvo laser that you could do from above, preferably like a fiber or a blue galvo that would generate heat, because you do have to generate heat in order to get this to bond with the material at all. So I will be dropping links down below if you want to go look at the glacier that we used in this video. Go feel free to check it out. It's in Kickstarter right now, so there's some information out there for it. And at the end of the day, guys, the results that I had, although not terrible, you can see there's going to be it's going to take a lot of practice and a lot of testing to get a well, uniformed finish on wood. Because the thing with powder coating is that the material needs to be about the same temperature as the powder coat for you to get that really good bond. I did try using a piece of metal as well. I used some stainless steel and I tried, and it was like 0 results. It was like a total failure. So I didn't do a whole lot of that. But with the wood, doing the, engrave, fill with the powder coating powder, and then go back over it, I had some decent results. So if you just wanted to do this with the powder coating material, it is doable. Like I said, I don't think this is something that you're going to want to get into for a profit unless you just really practice and get good at it. But it is doable. I did also, after the engrave and after the powder coating, sand these things, because I found that the vapors coming off of them and the a little bit of flame that you get from the some of the settings will actually cause some of the really light powder around the edges to bond with the material. But all in all, guys, I'm gonna have to say this is definitely possible, but it's just not real practical. So although you can do it, I don't know that it's something that you would want to do when you're trying to work on a job or to try to make money. With maybe some keychains and stuff like that, maybe you'd have better results with with other materials, with other woods, that kind of thing. But I can tell you from a money making standpoint, this is not something that I feel like I'm going to be using on a regular basis. But you guys asked if it was possible, could it be done? You were interested in it, so I did the video. So if you like the video, feel free, comment down below and give me a thumbs up. We were 22 days from being full-time, guys. And so if you want me to be in your guinea pig for some of these wild ideas that you guys come up with, let me know in the comments down below what your ideas are. And be sure to subscribe and stay tuned for 22 more days until we get a lot more content coming out. So until next time, guys, be safe and have a good day.